I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
Everywhere.
Good evening, everyone. We are back with our episode of Fireflies Forever. I am going to do my very best today. I am dealing with what I believe to be bronchitis. So please accept my apologies for my voice. But we're here today, and I'm just going to lay it out here. Today is a tough day for Chris. And he'll get into why and all of that shortly. But Chris, man, just checking in with you. I know we talked a little bit before the stream, but you know, how are you holding up today, man?
It's been a rough day. It's been a really rough day. So if you guys didn't know, today would have been me and Jodie's 7th anniversary. So I've been thinking about her a lot today.
Yeah, well, I know you have some beautiful pictures and different things that you sent over for memory. So, Chris, if it's okay with you, man, and welcome in everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Chris, if you don't mind, we'll just go ahead and get right into it, man.
Yeah, so I thought I would just kind of show some pictures of some different points in our relationship and a few posts that we made to each other over the years for our anniversary. The first one here, this is the first picture that Jodie and I ever took together.
Oh man.
You were sorry, I'm gonna try to get through this the best I can.
It's okay. It's okay, brother. Take your time, brother.
So yeah, this is early in our relationship. We took a trip to Chicago, and this was that trip, and this was the first picture that we ever took together.
Man, where did you guys go in Chicago while you were there?
We went to a Cubs game at Wrigley, which was awesome because I've always been a huge Cubs fan. Went to some cool breweries, some cool places to eat. Went and got some Chicago pizza. You know, just your traditional Chicago tourist trip.
Gotcha.
We had a lot of fun on that trip.
Awesome.
That was where we really kind of started to get to know each other and started to fall for each other.
Yeah.
And this here is right after I proposed to her. This was down in North Carolina. We were down there visiting her parents, and she was totally shocked. She had no idea that I had already bought a ring and brought it with me down there and that I was going to propose. So I caught her really off guard there.
That's awesome.
And then here's a picture right after we got married. And Logan looks that way because he was asleep for the wedding and he was sitting in his little car seat. We just did something just very intimate with just the two of us to get married. That's how we wanted to do it. And yeah, he was sitting there asleep in his car seat for the whole wedding, but we woke him up to take some pictures at the end. So he wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah, he's looking like I want to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Like, why did you guys wake me up? Yeah, this was just a post I made on that day, just kind of expressing how I felt that day. I was really excited to get to marry Jodie.
Yeah.
And then these next few are just some random posts that we made to each other at different anniversaries over the years, and she always did such a good job of expressing how she felt about me and made a big deal out of anniversaries and stuff. She was great at that. And she always liked to include some good pictures of us too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember seeing these.
Yeah.
She shared these on
The top
on
right one there was when we went back to the place that I proposed at like a year or two later, the same spot. And then the other ones are a trip couple different trips that we took to the Indianapolis Zoo here. We had a zoo membership and we used to take the kids a lot.
I like that zoo. I used to, when I lived there, we used to go to it.
Oh yeah, it's a really nice zoo.
Yeah. I remember this post.
Yeah, that was like our nightly routine. Lay in bed just like that, watching TV before we go to sleep. And then there's one I made just showing some highlights. There's a bottom right. There's a picture of us at Wrigley on that Cubs game on that initial trip we went on, and just some of the other ones. The one to the top left there is one of our first dates that we went on. We were downtown Indianapolis. That's on the circle.
Yeah.
And then had to include the track. We obviously used to go out there a lot. We both love that place. And the bottom left there is in front of the podium at the track. Or the pagoda, I mean. And then this would be the last one I ever made.
Yeah.
And this was her last one she ever made last year.
Yeah.
The quote that are there at the top by Stephanie Meyer, I actually used that quote in the speech that I gave at her funeral.
Wow. Take your time, man. Chris, I know this is difficult for you. I just want to ask if you wanted to say any other words before we go into the artwork.
I just wanted to share that stuff with you guys. You know, I like sharing these memories of Jodie with all of you guys that cared about her too. I'm glad to get to do that, even when it's hard.
Yeah. Well, we love you, man, and we're here for you. I know that you're dealing with a lot of pain, and not just today. But just know that we're here. We love you. We continue to pray for you. Like Clown just said, thank you so much for sharing this. You know, you've allowed us to be a part of your family, and we greatly appreciate that. So, so thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoy sharing with you guys because you guys all cared about her too, just like I did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. She was loved by many, and you know, I know that you know that through interactions you've had and conversations and seeing people, you know, show up, and I know that you've seen that, and I'm glad. I'm really, really glad that you've seen that because you know, so many love her, and
I miss her every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're gonna go into something that something else that made her happy, and that's artwork.
Yep.
And I gotta shout out Jesse. Jesse sent me so much artwork today.
Awesome.
And at the end of the message, she said, "Merry Christmas." Um, so thank you, Jesse. Really appreciate you and John and many others for sending in artwork. Helps us out a lot. I'm not even gonna show my normal screen because there's no point anymore, honestly. Let's go with this first one here from Nicole.
That's awesome. I really like that.
Yeah, it is awesome. Yeah, good work as always by Nicole. That's just amazing. Like the detail. And,
oh yeah, even has the play and paint on the gloves.
yeah. And the different, like the color contrast, and it's just awesome. Hey Alicia, I'm gonna be sharing your pictures, and I'll have you explain in chat what it is and the inspiration behind it. So when we get there, I need you to be ready. This is a cool one too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's very realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It's very well done. Awesome edit here. Another great edit.
Feels like such a long time ago. Well, all that was happening with the Fiend.
I know, man.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's again, we say it every couple weeks.
Yep.
This is it, a little closer.
Yeah, we need a comic book.
Yeah, we do. Sorry, I had to cough real quick. Told you.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yes. Love that callback to the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, that's sick, man. Sick. Clown said the levels of shading on that black and white Alexa was amazing. I agree.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that one was so good. So good. All right, Alicia, you're up. I want Alicia to tell folks. She shared with me, and I'll just kind of kick it off. But these are her elbow crutches. And she says they're in the style of the unforgettable Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, red and black.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff, Alicia.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Cool to have little touches like that in random places.
Yeah. Thank you, Alicia, for sharing these too. We greatly appreciate it. All right. So, Chris, we're gonna transition into there's Alicia saying there. These are my elbow crutches in the style of the Fiend.
So did you change them or alter them to make them that way, Alicia?
Yeah, tell us your process. Tell us how you, like, if you painted them or how you did it, because we want to shout you out, and then we'll get into our discussion for the evening, which we've got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, got a tweet from the Wyatt Sicks.
That's right. We're going to break it down, and I'm going to shout out John Bennett too, because he had a theory She said, "Good old fashioned tape."
Oh wow.
That is impeccable.
Yeah, it looked like paint.
Yeah, that is
Awesome.
impeccable. Like that's amazing. I mean,
Clever idea too to do that.
yeah, yeah. Um, so let's get into the news. We got a report, I think, late last week or over the weekend, from Fightful, that we already heard about Bo being cleared,
Mm-hmm.
but we got a little bit more insight as to what the delay is. And apparently, everyone is back, healthy, ready to go. Um, yeah, James. Um, uh, everyone's ready to go. It's just a matter of the right time and doing some creative to bring them back. So, Chris, what did you think about that news? And I'll ask another question on the other side of that because I thought it was interesting, some of the reaction. But what did you think of that news?
I saw that latest report and I'm like, didn't we already get that report like 2 or 3 weeks ago that he had already been cleared? I didn't really understand or unless that was just rumors and this one's official. I don't know. You know how it is when it comes to the message stuff with rumors mill and everything online. So it's good to know that it's official now, I guess, officially official that he's been cleared and they're going to be back. And we kind of already have talked about that, though, that you know, they have to plan these shows ahead of time, so they can't just throw them right on the week after that someone gets cleared. They have to make it work storyline wise and stuff with what they're doing. But we know they're going to be back soon. So
I thought it was interesting that it was mentioned bringing them back, quote, at the right time. I think that shows a level of commitment to the storyline, to the characters, and to the individuals portraying these characters. I think,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, did you get that same sense?
Yeah, and we've talked about it before. I'd rather have them at the right time that fits well than just the soonest time or whatever that may not fit as well. I mean, you know, we don't know what they're planning or thinking, but I trust that they have that in mind and what will be the best time. I mean, at this point, who knows? Maybe they come back right after Mania or something like that could make a big impact.
Right.
On what they do.
Right. I think, too, and this is the other part that I wanted to ask you about. I found it so interesting that the report essentially said what many people have been saying for a while, and that's be patient. It's happening.
Yeah.
But when people saw that report, it was like, oh, yeah, you know.
Well, they're going to be on SmackDown this Friday.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about the reaction to it and how people went, swung that pendulum from panicking and everything to now it's like, okay, I feel better now. It's all is well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see it. I hope that, people come back around on them. Anybody that may have, gave up a little bit and stuff. But, and also the flip side of that, though, is like there was no reason for that. I don't feel like there was ever any worry that they were going to get released or they weren't going to come back or anything like that. We've known that. I mean, they themselves have gave us some teases over the last month or two that they're coming back soon. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah. So I think, if it made you feel better, I'm happy.
Yeah. And I think the door is wide open now. Anything's possible. They could come back at Mania, very well could be. And maybe that would be a big shock thing to happen since they've never even been on a PLE yet. Maybe they come back at Mania and attack someone or something. Like, who knows? So I love that we have this mystery now of we could literally over the next month or more, we could see them anytime, anywhere, attack anybody. It's cool to think that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a fair question, James. James saying, but when does it become a farce and a piss take the longer they ain't on the show?
Hmm.
Just playing devil's advocate for the other side. Gotcha.
Hmm.
I still think that, see, let me go here, I guess. It would be different if they were just and I know people don't like him, but I'm gonna bring his name up anyway. Let's say Logan Paul was out for whatever reason. They could bring Logan Paul back with little creative. I mean, they could do something and say, we're just going to get you involved with this person. We're going to have you come out, step on stage, step on the ramp
Mm-hmm.
when that person's in the ring. That's how we introduce the story. We'll build
Mm-hmm.
from there. This group, this storyline, these characters are so unique and so different
Mm-hmm.
that it's akin to when they were bringing back the Undertaker,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going through some adjustments in character,
Right.
or he had been off for whatever reason. You can't just bring those people back willy nilly.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, and to that point, think about how cool some of those moments are when the Undertaker came back. Like just recently, I was been watching like old episodes of Raw with a buddy of mine. We're up to like 1 through 98 right now, and like the Undertaker just came back on a recent episode coming after Kane. Kane had put him in a coffin and lit it on fire, and so he was off TV for a while. But then he all of a sudden came back, and like it was just so cool.
Yeah.
The way they did it, him coming back out of a coffin and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
those moments are awesome, and those have to be done right. That wouldn't have been as cool if he wouldn't have been off TV for a couple months or whatever, however long it was. Like
Right.
it made that feel bigger the way they did that. And to the point of James was saying, like, I don't feel like there should have ever really been any panic or worry about them, because for the most part, all along, I mean, we found out pretty early that somebody in the group was dealing with an injury. Like, of course they're gonna, they're gonna be off TV, or at least, probably off TV because of somebody being injured. Like, now if they were off all this time and just healthy sitting at home and just WWE was deciding not to use them, yeah, I could see a little bit of panic there. But that hasn't been the case. So I don't feel like anybody ever should have really panicked given the situation. Injuries happen all the time in wrestling, and it sucks, but we just have to let them have their time off to get healthy, and they'll come back when they're ready.
Right. I also think, to your point, if we had gotten word that there was no creative for them, also another reason to be concerned.
Exactly.
But
the fact that they released the masks in the time that they were off and stuff tells me that they're not just gonna ditch them. They're not looking to release them or anything like that. And to James's point too, that he just posted, I 100% think that's part of it too. Is they're doing a European tour right now. They're gonna probably have them go travel over to Europe. And re-debut in front of those crowds. I feel like it'd be better back here. So I'm sure that we won't see them until after they're back in the States, which I think they have after next week. I think is when they're back in the States.
Yeah, I think
so. They have London next week.
Yeah, and I think to that point, this tour is really about highlighting this John Cena thing.
Exactly. This is those fans over there's last chance to see John Cena in person. So they don't want to overshadow that with anything, which I understand.
Exactly. And I think it works both ways. I think you don't want to, if you're booking the Wyatt Sicks, you don't want their story to compete at all
Right.
because and just being honest, just being realistic, they're not in the same on the same level right
Yeah.
now because
Right.
because John Cena is retiring
Yeah.
and because he is now a heel, which
hmm Makes it even bigger.
makes it even bigger. So,
Yeah.
um, Clown saying as long as they keep making merch and action figures planned for the Wyatts, I'm not worried. But once they stop the merch side, that's time to worry. Uh, you mentioned James's comment. Alicia says, "What do you think of all this for smoke and rumors of Aleister Black? Any links possibly to the Wyatts?"
It's interesting. I mean, it's it's definitely gonna be something I'm wanting to see what happens with. I mean, I wouldn't shock me if at some point they cross paths or do something together, given that he's always kind of been a spooky character like that. I think it would fit and it could be really cool to do something with the Wyatt Six. So I'm definitely interested to see if that is all about him coming back and when he does and how and where that goes.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
absolutely. Wyatts and Aleister will be on SmackDown all together. That would be. What if that was their first thing coming back?
Yeah, you never know. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. If they
Right.
know that Aleister Black is coming soon, then
Yeah.
maybe that's what they're waiting for. Very well could be.
Yeah. Well, Chris, we did say that we got some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to go through these. So we got this one.
So this was an older picture they posted back in January, but I found it interesting because the most recent one they just posted a few days ago mentioned the same verse that's in this one, Ecclesiastes 3:1, which is on like the fire on the chair. And so they highlighted that same verse again. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Uh, I'm just responding to Ishii here. I want to know who would you put with Aleister Black if you were to do that.
Hmm.
And then Chris, we got this.
Yeah, so this their most recent tweet from just a few days ago. They tweeted a couple Bible verses and then some messaging in between them. In time you shall see, you shall behold, stand in awe. Yet again, I think referring to that they're coming back soon, and them saying that has me excited. We're gonna stand in awe when they come back. Well, what does that mean? What are they gonna do? I wonder if we might see some kind of a massacre like we did previously with Chad Gable. I mean that was pretty awe inspiring, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe something even bigger and better this time. Who knows? But I'm definitely excited to hear them talk like that. And then the
Yeah.
second part is obviously interesting too. We see you, remember who you are, remember what you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that sure seems like they're talking to Alexa there, and we still, don't have much idea on how she's going to play into that. Is she going to be a friend or a foe?
Right. That's the interesting part. How are they gonna have her attached to
Mm-hmm.
them? I'm gonna shout out John Bennett too. He shared some research that he had. He said the sixth tweet that others are referencing the Bible, I figured out also references the song "Turn, Turn, Turn" by the Byrds.
Hmm.
So yeah, shout out John. Definitely wanted to give him credit, but these are the verses.
Yeah, so this is the one that they'd referenced previously that we've talked about before. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. I think this just goes to show that like they're waiting for the right time to come back. They're not just gonna rush it or throw them in somewhere where it doesn't make sense. They've got a plan, for their creative as to how and when they want them to come back, and they're gonna hold out and wait for that right time. So I think we just need to have patience for that because I think it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one I really found interesting, the Galatians 6:9 verse.
Yeah.
Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And reading the verses around that too really gave me the sense that this is telling us that there's been some question marks of like, well, are they gonna still be faces when they come back? Are they gonna turn heel and stuff? I think this points to them still being good, still being faces. I think they're still gonna go after people that have caused harm. To me is what it sounds like. Talking about doing good, and then even like the verse after it, therefore as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers.
So you mentioned this one being interesting, and that's what I thought about reading that last one. I was like, man, that last verse after that is so interesting.
Talking about family, because obviously we know a lot of history with the word Wyatt and family together. Yep. Even the verse before too, whoever sows to please their flesh from the flesh will reap destruction. I mean, that's what they did before they attacked Chad Gable and carrying cross. Like they were going after people that were pleasing their flesh, and they reaped destruction for it. So yeah, I found this one really, and I think I like that they highlighted that verse, but it kind of encourages you to read a little bit around it because I think it gives more context to what they're talking about.
Yeah. And it's, man, honestly, and you obviously this is scripture, but talking about believers, I think is a very big possibility that they possibly incorporate Bray more into things.
I would love that.
I would too. I would too. I think, like doing callbacks, doing, maybe doing something with the lantern like we talked about before, just different little things.
That's right. Grande Americano.
Oh boy. Yeah. That dude, man. All I could do was laugh.
Oh yeah, that was great. I'm loving that stuff.
All I could do was laugh. But yeah, I just think, given some of this, and I think that's where they were going, especially with the involvement of Cross.
Yeah.
But now that we're seeing this, and you kind of, like you said, read around, I think it makes a ton of sense. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what they're hinting at, is that they're going to come back similar purpose to what they had before. And I like that. I think that they were on a good course. It sucks this injury happened and kind of derailed everything. But I think had they been able to keep going what they had, I think it was going to turn into great. They just didn't. I don't feel like they really got to get the wheels spinning quite enough yet with it.
Yeah. I don't. Again, going back to my earlier point about how they're so unique. There's so many layers to the story. Adding in the lore of Bray. His everything that he did, the foundation that he laid for this story, for this group.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to tap into that, and I think they were just getting started with it. So
Yeah. Something else I thought of too, it would be cool if they're like, obviously we know that Bray struggled with that and talked about how he, was a bad person and previously and tried to fix that with the Fiend, but obviously we know the Fiend was not really a good person either. So it'd be cool to see if they kind of tie that in with the Wyatt Sicks. Like the Wyatt Sicks are trying to do good to pay penance for Bray and the bad things that he did, or something like that. That might be a cool way to tie it in.
that would be interesting too. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that idea. So I guess let's kind of bounce around a little bit um, before we end the show. And by the way, folks, go definitely check out NXT this week. I know we say that every week, but check it out this week. Should be some really good stuff.
Oh yeah,
Again,
Stephanie
you never.
McGregor is awesome.
Yeah,
And
she's
she's
got 2
defending both
matches.
belts.
Yeah, she's defending both titles this evening. So yeah, go check that out. Let's just kind of bounce around a little bit when it comes to this. So obviously, well, we believe that they're going to SmackDown. That's the last word that we got. That's where
Mhm.
they're headed. Um, I will say I really like the idea of them immediately going after Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever his name's going to be.
Mhm.
Um, as soon as he gets there, and I think for 2 reasons. I think one, it kind of heats them back up,
Mhm.
and then I feel like it makes his return bigger
Oh
in a
yeah.
way.
I think it'd
So
be
what?
good mutually, like,
Yeah,
because obviously, we see how things have been lately. Anytime someone jumps ship from AEW and comes back to WWE or comes to WWE for the first time, it's a big news. Like the whole wrestling world is paying attention. Look at Penta. My good, he
right.
just blew up, when he came over to WWE. So there's going to be a lot of eyes. The rumor mill is already swirling that Aleister Black's coming. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on that. That I feel like that would be a great spot to put the Wyatt Sicks in to see the eyes on him and also highlight the Wyatt Sicks. Also, I feel like they could benefit each other, especially since they have such a similar style and dark characters, and they could really tell a dark story together.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it will be mutually beneficial
Hmm.
because again, just being honest, there are people, not us per se, because we've been talking about them regardless,
Hmm.
whether they're on camera or not. But um, there are people who may feel out on them,
Hmm.
and that's their prerogative. They can
Yeah,
feel
but I
how they
think if
want to feel.
they that given the right thing, I mean, look how many people were all about them after that massacre. I mean, I didn't hardly hear anyone saying anything negative about that when they
Exactly.
first debuted. So I think given the right thing that they come back to, it could change a lot of people's minds on that. I understand why some people felt that way with, things started happening and then the injury. And so I can understand why some people may have lost interest. But I think given the right thing, it could definitely increase their interest.
Hmm. Absolutely agree, man. Absolutely agree. I think this, like, barring injury, and we can't forecast any of those things, or
Hmm.
but we know in this business it happens. But
Yeah.
barring injury, I feel like whenever they return going forward, I have a really good feeling that this is going to be a prominently placed group.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think as long as they can avoid another injury, that hopefully they can get build some momentum and be able to keep it going for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Is she saying, would Aleister Black be alone, or will he bring a faction to go against them? I think that's a good question. Well, how would you, if you had the pencil, Chris, how would you do it? And who would you put with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's what makes me tend to think he'd probably come alone, because I can't really think of anyone offhand that would fit well with him right off the bat. But maybe that could be part of the story, and maybe if the Wyatt Sicks do go after him, then he probably would need to try and find some people to help him out against them. So
yeah,
maybe initially he would come by himself and then recruit some people for a faction. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
maybe some people from NXT or something. That might be a good way to highlight people.
Yeah, I think that could be a good way to highlight some folks from NXT.
There's even that new faction in NXT. Wow, what are they called? Dark something, I think. I can't remember
what is the name of it.
They just showed their name on last week's NXT.
Yeah. Someone in the chat, let us know what their names are.
I want to say it was Dark something, but I can't remember now.
Yeah. You want to talk about a formidable group.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they're impressive. So
yeah.
Dark State.
Yeah. Maybe that might be a cool option.
Yeah. Jeremy saying start off alone, then they put a faction with. And again, I don't know the statuses of any of the rest of the House of Black in AEW. I know that Ishii brought them up before. I don't know their status. But what I will say is this, and where I feel not just WWE, but just companies in general have to be careful. It's cool to try to keep those things together, but if you have people already there that you aren't utilizing a lot, can you find a way? Can you challenge yourself to find a way to get some of these other folks involved?
Yeah.
James is saying they all recently signed new deals. Okay. What do you think about that, Chris, in terms of utilizing the talent that you have as opposed to growing the roster consistently?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good thing for WWE to utilize the talent they have. I mean, that's why they've built this entire infrastructure around it with NXT and now even the Evolve and LXT and everything. I mean, they have such a system now for just bringing up talent and working them through there to get them to the main roster eventually if they're good enough. And obviously we've seen how much that paid off. I mean, we've talked about it before, and 90% of the main roster now is former NXT talent. So they've got a great system for that they need, to keep using. I think at the same token, obviously, if the opportunity arises for a free agent that you really want to grab, I think that's definitely a good thing. I never really watched AEW much, so I was not real familiar with Penta. I freaking love Penta now. He's one of my favorite wrestlers on in WWE now. I think he's awesome to watch and stuff. So it's cool for people I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like me that have only ever watched WWE that don't know some of these people that come in new. So I think that's cool too when they can, if they have the option to grab somebody like that. But I also don't want to see them underutilize other talent that they already have in favor of that. So I think it's a big balancing act, and that's why we see the cuts happen that we do, which is unfortunate, but I understand it. Not everyone works out. Not everyone fits the mold that WWE is looking for. So it's definitely walking a tightrope, I feel like, a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah, Clown, that's a great match recommendation right there. So if you want to see how, like, you really want to see what Penta can do, check that match out. Go.
Okay.
Matter of fact, while you're at it, just check out a bunch of Lucha Underground because Lucha Underground was amazing. Now here, I'm gonna get to that, James, because Jeremy said there's TNA to consider to put with Black, which I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a name, and then I want us to have fun for the rest of the show. Fantasy booking who we could put in this faction to go up against the Wyatts. I'm gonna give you a name. People may think I'm weird, but I don't care. Still gonna say it. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's different, right?
Yeah. And obviously he's been pretty dark lately.
Uh-huh.
So that would fit the bill. I just thought of one bringing up TNA, and I've already heard a lot of rumors that they may be coming to WWE main roster soon that could fit is the Hardys. But you know, dark version of Hardys, Willow and Broken Matt.
Oh man.
Going against the Wyatt Sicks, that could be pretty cool.
Oh man. That would be tremendous. Static Marie, what's up? How you doing? It has been a while since we've seen you.
Oh, Rosemary, that's a good call too.
Yeah, Rosemary. I really like that. I'm gonna throw out another one too. That's not necessarily a dark character yet per se. But what about Zaya Brookside?
Yeah,
I think she'd be a good addition. Obviously, I feel like Savannah Evans would be good too. But let's throw out some names. Who are some other
maybe
folks?
Lei Ying Lee.
Yeah,
she would fit well with Shinsuke.
Yeah,
kind of going for that vibe.
Yeah, because they both have kind of a Mortal Kombat kind of
samurai kind of feel.
Yeah, I love that. We're glad you're here. Please know that. But yeah, James saying my English Queen Zaya. How about I just throw out an obvious one? Clown says Wendy Chu. That's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't seen her lately either.
Yeah. What about Zelina Vega?
Oh, that could be
work
cool.
with her husband.
Yeah, I would love to see her do a heel run. I think we've only ever seen her as a face. I think she could be a good heel.
She'd be tremendous. Yeah, she'd be tremendous. James saying, James saying, can we have the Wyatts mess up the system?
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Uncle Howdy versus Moose.
I was just about to say Uncle Howdy and Moose.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Or Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers against Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy.
That would be a lot of fun. Lots of fun. I think another name that would be fun to get involved with this would be Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
And Eric Young.
Oh, yes.
Since EY was supposed to be involved at some level.
I love that idea, yeah.
I would love for him to be involved.
James
said Nikki can finally shut up Lish.
Yes. Oh, please give us Nikki terrorizing her. I need to see that.
It would be hilarious if every time she approached the microphone, Nikki showed up. That would be hilarious.
Wendy Chu was on Evolve last week. That's cool. I haven't checked that show out yet.
I haven't checked it out either. I gotta check it out. Yeah, man. there's a lot of good names. I'm trying to think of some others in WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
After this Jade
Oh,
thing,
what a
Naomi.
yeah. Yeah, that could be cool. I'd like to
Yeah,
see a heel run for her with doing something like that.
yeah.
I just thought of another one. There's a new dark faction in NXT that I really like with Shawn Spears, the Culling.
Yeah,
That could be a cool matchup for the Wyatt Six.
that would be really good. Alicia's saying, I know it sounds weird, but what about Seth Rollins or even Drew or Sammy?
Sammy could be cool because we don't know what kind of the mental state he's going to be in now after this feud with KO. Maybe he just goes off the deep end
Off the D,
and
exactly.
it just goes crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, and don't count out Seth
Yeah.
because after this triple threat,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how it goes, it could go. He could go completely off the deep end.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he like what if Seth like started having like flashbacks to his feud with the Fiend and it starts driving him
Oh
crazy.
man,
That would be a cool callback.
that would be. That would be. Um, breaking news: if you're a NFL fan, Russell Wilson has signed with the New York Giants.
Hmm.
1 year deal worth up to 21 million.
Jeez.
So Russell Wilson, if you're listening, I just need a couple dollars, man. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to go through the roster here. Uh, someone else that I would love to see would be Bailey.
Yeah.
I think that could be interesting. Alicia saying, or anybody that's been affected by the Fiend.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you also have to throw into that too anybody that wronged Nikki,
Mm-hmm.
uh, depending on Alexa's level of involvement, anyone that's wronged her.
Yeah.
So Nia Jax
Mm.
uh, is one. Um,
Yeah,
ooh,
and I still hope at some point we're able to go back and revisit Carrying Cross.
yes,
That needs to happen at some point.
it really does. Yeah, yeah, that definitely needs to happen at some point. All right, so because my voice is starting to do a thing, um, I guess we'll start wrapping up the show. But before we do that, because I forgot, um, if you don't mind, folks, drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, we welcome you. We are glad that you joined us this week, and hope that you hit that subscribe button so you can be here when we have future content. And we will have content on this channel on Thursday. We will let you know about Sunday. I think I'm trending in the right direction, but we'll let you all know about Sunday. But Chris, I just want to just give the floor to you. Any final thoughts you have about, um, just what we can expect, and or any, just anything that you want to share.
I think that I see a lot of talk right now, and if you listen back to this time last year, I heard a lot of the same stuff that this Mania build is boring. They're not doing much. This Mania doesn't look very good, and I think we can all agree that last year's Mania was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we're seeing some of that this year too. That Triple H is not showing his whole hand yet.
Right.
I think that there's still going to be some stuff, some surprises that are going to happen either before or during or after, even after WrestleMania that we don't even see coming yet. So I think we should all just breathe for a second and enjoy these next couple weeks leading up to Mania, because I have a feeling that after Mania, it's going to be a pretty wild ride.
Completely agree. I completely agree. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. I really do.
Like, for instance, I've seen some people talking about they're not liking these Cena Cody promos because they want to see Cena cook Cody on the mic like old Cena used to. But if you look at the flip side of what I think they're doing, Cena's being just calm and collected during this. And look at Cody. Cody's starting to get a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that last night. Like, Cody's getting angry and stuff. I think that's Cena's goal. He's getting in his head, and is making him get a little nuts and stuff. So it's not always what it seems like. I feel like that WWE's gotten good at like telling some underlying stories. Even like the Jey Uso stuff, like we've seen him mess up a few times lately, and people are like, "Oh, look at those botches and stuff." Well, that's part of the story. We found out last night. That's part of the story. He's like getting in his own head that he can't beat Gunther. And I think that stuff's really cool. That WWE is able to tell these underlying stories and things. So, look out for that kind of stuff. I think not everything is what it seems, and we're going to find out a lot more.
Yeah, completely agree, man. I thought it was very interesting how they worked that into commentary.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love that.
So yeah, absolutely, man. Good stuff. Well, Chris, it's been a lot of fun, man.
Yep.
Having that conversation with you, and again, going back to the beginning of the show, thank you for sharing those memories with us, and please know that we're here for you always, man.
Yep. Have a lot more to share soon too.
Good. We'll be on the lookout. So, Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank all of you out there for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate you joining us every week and chatting about the Wyatts. And we know that it's difficult that they're not around on screen, but hey, this is why we do what we do here. We love to chat about them. We love to chat about this universe that Brett created. So so yeah, it's a lot. It's always fun to chat.
Part of the fun of wrestling is not knowing what's going to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes I think we know a little too much.
Yeah. Sometimes we spoil things for ourselves.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, Clown said, "Yeah, I saved a mouse stuck in a glue trap at work." There you go. All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week. Hopefully we see you on Thursday and hopefully on Sunday if we end up having the show. But if not, we'll be back next week for another episode of Fireflies Forever. Have a great rest of your week, folks. Take care. Be safe. And again, we appreciate you. Have a good evening.
I am the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Fear for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.